It is Thanksgiving week. In fact, I probably will release this Thanksgiving morning. So happy Thanksgiving for everybody watching this on Thanksgiving morning. I wanted to have this opportunity to ask Coach what he's thankful for.
Mm,
What do
good
you got,
question.
Coach?
Oh man, lots and lots to be thankful for. I think I could take this in layers, kind of like a layered cake on Thanksgiving Day that I'm going to be eating, or some pie.
Probably a couple of slices.
Yeah, how many pieces of cake can I have on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah,
That's how grateful I am.
there you go.
No, I'm grateful for you, Michael. First of all, thank you for this. Has been a lot of fun coming on every week when we can and talking, and I value our friendship and what we get to do. And I'm thankful for the people who listen to us. Both the One Rental at a Time community, the Coach Carson community. It's just the fact that we get to talk and teach and share is just amazing. I'm
Yeah.
super grateful for that. I'm also thinking though, you're back on my real estate business. I actually did a little episode today on this for my podcast. I'm experimenting with these audio only podcasts where I just do it like 7-10 minutes, just kind of informal. And I talked about giving gifts during the holidays and how it's something I used to do more often, and I got away from it when I'm traveling. But it's such a good practice that I want to get back into, because by me making a list of vendors that I work with, contractors, handymen, my attorney,
Yep.
my CPA, just the act of making that list just reminds me how thankful I am, and also how dependent I am on all these relationships. It's such a people business.
Yeah.
And so when I think about our tenants, the fact that here are these tenants who treat our property well, by and large, the negative stories get all the news, but like
Right.
99% of our tenants are amazing. They take care of the property. They pay on time. They treat our property well. We try to treat them well. So I'm just thankful for that relationship. I'm thankful for the contractors, our people who work with us. And really, like bigger picture, this is kind of a big picture capitalism conversation too. Like, how cool is it
Yeah.
that we have this business we run, that we have hundreds of people or thousands of people who we depend on. Some of it we don't even know. Like, do we really know the person who did the utilities in the local utility department who helped us get power to our house? And yet we write a check and that happens, and that power gets turned on. Like, how cool is it that it makes me grateful that we had this system of voluntary exchange between people, and it works like in thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions and billions of transactions every day. Like, that's what an amazing thing we have going on. And the fact that it works is I'm thankful for that too.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Um, this week, traditionally is a slower week, right? Back when I was working, a lot of people took this week off to kind of have a 9-day break. It's just slower, and it really does allow you to sort of contemplate, you know, what you are thankful for. I mean, it's just a great week to do that. And like you kind of opened with, the opportunity for two guys who are on opposite ends of the coast, who both have a passion for helping, to get together once a week and build this combined community is it's just so awesome,
Yep.
right? To be able to do this. And again, to get feedback and figure out when we're over the target, and what's really resonating with the community. I appreciate you saying yes to some guy at the time you didn't know, right? To give up a half hour of your time. You didn't have to do this, right? It's noon for you, right? You could be doing a lot of other things at noon. So I appreciate you saying yes to this crazy guy on the West Coast.
100%.
Um, yeah, it's so awesome. The other thing, I'm thankful for is just this platform, right? I
Mm-hmm.
started way back when with the simple vision of trying to create something that would outlive my physical body, right? Our videos will be available long after you and I are gone, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully still positively impacting people,
Yeah.
right? We have hundreds of videos together across all kinds of topics. You have a playlist on this channel, and it's just really cool to know that this is something that will be around. To me, it's really cool to think about it being around after I'm dead and gone. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool to think about.
Yeah, I have friends who collect different stuff. You see people who collect salt shakers or like places they've been. I collect ideas, and so for
Mm,
me, being able to put my ideas on the internet, and even one person or two people actually want to like listen to it, and it helps them. Like, that blows my mind. That's
yeah,
incredible. And YouTube is, I've come more and more. I mean, this year especially, but even years past, like YouTube is to me like one of these magical platforms for content creators, for those like us. Like I call us small content creators. We're not, you know, the Mr. Beast of the world.
Oh,
We have an amazing community of people, and we get to know you. Like we get to see your comments. Like when I read, I don't respond to every single comment. You're amazing about that, but I read them all, and I you know, appreciate them, and it's a conversation between people. So it's
mm.
I love face-to-face conversations like in real life, but to be able to do this at scale, to do it long distance, and people to be able to discover what we're trying to help people about. I mean, that's pretty incredible. So YouTube is definitely a game changer in my world.
No, YouTube is everything. And I didn't, in a lot of things that, you know, I've done since retiring, I had no idea about. We just kind of jumped in and kept trying, right? One of the things, you know, that I think a lot of people who have a passion should start by creating content on YouTube, because first off, you're going to start finding your tribe, because I promise you there are other people interested in your thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do it and then you do it consistently, you're going to unlock a lot of other avenues to be positively impacted, right? For example, we both have books. We both have multiple books. I guarantee you more people are buying our books because of these videos,
Mm-hmm.
right? We both have courses. I guarantee you people are checking us out here for free before they drop 1 penny on a course.
Yep.
We've done events. You're going to be hosting your first event. You've talked about it. It's awesome. People are going to be coming to that after binge watching our free stuff. Then you could get, you know, sponsorships and these other, I mean, it's just lots of other things unlock. I just think too many people worry about the money first versus creating good content first. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, it goes back to that conversation. Like I said, if there's 1 or 2 people who listen to me, that would be, you know, that would be something. And I think that's for everybody listening to this. Like whether it's YouTube or Instagram or LinkedIn, I mean, there's a platform. And if you're a writer, you know, LinkedIn is really cool. Twitter, X, some of these other ones, Threads. YouTube is very, you know, video centric if you just like getting on. But whoever you are, like even at a small scale, like I actually I have a nonprofit that I've told you about in my local community, trying to build trails. And one of the things I'm working on is trying to use my social media there, like where I make these little 2-minute videos showing a crosswalk that's horrible, like it's just not working, and then I explain why it is and why the state DOT is, you know, their regulations are keeping us from making this safe. And you know, my audience might be, if I have 50 people watch that video, that might be successful. But those 50 people are in my community, and they might be decision makers and city council people, and so it's like that's this kind of scale that it can make a big impact if you're a content creator.
No, and I think what you've just unlocked there is what I hope everybody does. Don't try to go viral.
Yeah.
Create content for the community, right? If your community is 50 people, that's great. That's awesome. You're going to positively impact, and the feedback loop is going to be amazing. I think too many people chase virality when it's not where the value is. The value is not in virality.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought I would talk to you about is, obviously we're getting closer to the end of the year. Why don't we first, let's actually step back. Why don't we talk about your event that you are putting on? It's going to be one of your first in-person events. Is that right?
It is. Yeah. I'm trying to learn from you. Your event was very impressionable to me. Like, I think you did amazing work, and just seeing how you moved between different things and planned. Mine is going to be not quite as ambitious, because it's going to be a private event where I'm doing it just for my rental property mastery community. And I thought about going public, but I said, man, this will be a lot easier if I just you know, the marketing, as you know, like the marketing of it and all that is another thing in addition to the setting up of the event. And I don't, my strength is not being an event planner. So I have a team member who, she is doing amazing. She's helping me do a lot. And so the way it's going to be in Charlotte. And so which is pretty close to me as well. And my goal is to have 50 to 100 people from our community. We have 220 people in the community. So
Nice.
so if we have 50 to 100, which we almost at 50 right now, then
Nice.
I want to have an event that connects the people to each other, because as much as I love YouTube and these connections we have, there's nothing like getting face to face. Like when your event last year, the people I got to connect with you and the other people who spoke to, it takes it to another level. So that's why I want to cement those relationships in service of the people in my community, doing more, making more, being better investors. Because I feel like the when you have relationships, you can depend on each other as an investor, because it's kind of a lonely journey, you know. So if you have these people who are, could be your, a lender borrower relationship. There's some people doing private lending with each other. It could just be accountability buddies, or it could just be, hey, I know so and so is really good with Airbnbs. I'm going to call them if I have a question. And so that's what I'm excited about. It's just having those, making those connections and those long-term value to each other.
I hope you have the same feeling I had. I put on that event is really a celebration of 50,000. It was a commitment I made years ago, but halfway through day one, I felt like I was walking on a cloud. It was so amazing. And that high is addicting.
Yeah.
Right. It's just meeting people and taking pictures. And, it was so amazing to get to meet people. I never met you in person. I hadn't met the lumberjack in person. Right. There's a lot of folks that were there that I met for the first time. And hence we're going to do it again, February 15th and 16th in Vegas. So
people should go. If you're watching this and you've been watching any of these videos, like Michael puts on an amazing event, and it's not like you go to some conferences that are, you're just a number, you're just a name, and it's just this big thing. Like, it was very close. Like, people are connecting with each other. And my understanding is you're going to also be doing even more of the meals with each other and the connections, which is what I got the most value out. I mean, the talks were awesome too, but I found myself, you always had to tell people, get out of the room. You're talking too much. Like,
exactly.
Hey, Carson, coach, get out of the room. You're talking too much back there. Cause I had this amazing conversation that didn't stop after the break, but that's kind of the nature of it.
Yeah. And folks, some of you have asked, is Coach coming back? I certainly extended the invitation, but he has a very busy schedule that month. So unfortunately, he will not be able to make this one.
Thank you for the invite. Yeah, I just looked at February, and with my event 2 weeks before, it was just not gonna be in the cards this year.
No problem. I did want people to know that I asked. It wasn't some kind of
slight. You slighted me, man. You didn't invite me at all.
That would never happen. But yeah, one of the things that I'm going to throw out there, and just see if you say yes. Let's say there's some one rental at a time fans in Charlotte or whatnot, but they're not yet part of your community. Could they, pay to come and maybe just be a fly on the wall? What do you think, Coach? Are you willing to do that?
Not yet. Unfortunately, it's not just one rental at a time would be first in line. Even the Coach Carson community. Here's my reasoning. This may be crazy, but have you ever heard, like, there's kind of like when you form a group or you're on a team, and there's kind of a chemistry that happens that then if you have somebody, even if it's an amazing person who comes in who's not part of that team, it just changes the dynamic.
Makes total sense.
And so what we're doing with this one is sort of a continuation. We have these small accountability groups within RPM. We have coaching relationships where I'm talking one-on-one with people. So it's a retreat in the true sense of the word, where we're taking an existing community and then meeting. But I've heard a lot of people who like to get together, and so I would like to do more meetups. If nothing else, if I just do it on the side of other events that people plan, like if I can say, hey, I'm going to be in Vegas for something with Michael, and then have a Coach Carson, let's go to this brewery or something and hang out, for the Coach Carson.
So you said no to that. Respect. I think you made the right choice, seeing what you're doing there. So all respect. Why don't we push Coach Carson to do an ORAT and Coach Carson event, maybe sometime in late summer or September on the East Coast? A lot of people want to get me on the East Coast.
Right.
Maybe you're the guy, we partner up and do something together. What do you think?
Yeah, if we get bombarded by comments, let's leave it to our community, right? Like, hey, start telling me how that would be cool, because it would be awesome. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'll say my event, I have a little bit of a, not a phobia, but it's like event planning and me are just like, all right. I start thinking about it. I'm like, oh man, it just kind of gives me the chills, which is crazy. But I love showing up at events, but like, I get it. Any of the preparation, I'm like, oh man, it sounded good in concept, and then I had to go plan it, and I kind of
folks, if you don't know the amount of work all the little things that go into planning an event, marketing event. Oh, it's crazy.
even the financial part of it, can we just break even? Like,
Yeah, can we break even?
I signed a contract with the hotel, and they're like, yeah, you have to have a minimum of 30 nights, or whatever they call room nights. I'm like, oh, really? Like, what happens if I don't? They're like $10,000. I'm like, oh, man, like,
damn.
really? So I'm like, so this is, I've got risk on this thing too. All right, gotcha.
Yeah. Damn the expense, and it's all up front, right?
Yeah.
All up front, all this stuff. That's crazy. Well, we've got a couple more minutes. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about 2025.
Yep.
You given any thought to 2025 at all at this point?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, my real estate business, we've been building some houses on a small scale. So
nice.
build to rent. So that I'm hoping to get those leased up to sort of see where those fall. And I'm going to do some content on that to show, what the numbers were, where I found it, how I partner with the builders. So I'm kind of excited about that aspect of my real estate business, the build to rent. I did a 8-unit short-term rental is a boutique hotel with a partner in Montana last year. And that's sort of now stabilized. And so at the end of this year, I'm going to see, what that looks like. I actually did a video on that on my channel recently, and I think we're going to make about $140,000 in net cash flow for the year. And
off 8 units?
8 units. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's
140 grand off 8 units. I can't do that math in my head anymore.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So how to do that? It'd be
$17,500 a unit.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing.
That's net. So that's
net.
But it's short-term rental. So and my partners there are amazing. So that is an example for me of a kind of a business model, the build to rent plus me doing limited number of like partnership, almost like venture capital with other kind of handpicked investors who I really like them.
So I'm just curious. I've never done a deal like that. Are you equity or are you debt?
Equity.
Equity.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd be okay doing debt, but I like long-term equity. Like to me, like hard money loans are cool. I'll do it in the short run, but there's always they're going to pay me off because it's a higher interest rate.
Of course.
Then I got to go place it
churn.
again. It's just churns over. And I really like, to use a farming analogy, I like to plant a tree and I like to let that plant, I'm patient. I like to let it grow. Just let it grow.
That.
And so for me, I would rather plant the seed with a person, with an investor who is growing but capital short. And so in this deal, for example, it was a $1.7 million purchase plus another $300,000 in repairs to kind of stabilize and reposition it. And so we put up $750,000 in equity capital. This investor who didn't have that capital was able to take down a building that was above he and his wife's kind of reach at the moment. And we did it safely with a big down payment. And so it was a win-win. Like we're both winning on that one. So I'm interested. 2025 for me is more about real estate business. How do I keep it growing without me growing my time commitment? That's
that's amazing. Yeah. That's exactly where Olivia and I are at is kind of thinking about, maybe the days of, daily execution. Now it's more about, how do we still grow, but we don't give up our time that we've worked so hard to get. I think that's wise words.
Exactly. And that's also with the portfolio, which is another reason new construction is interesting to me. If I could sort of grow up my portfolio, I've still got a few properties that are high maintenance and good cash flow, but they're just, there's just more hassle. So trading into properties that have more equity in, maybe not as much cash flow today, but they, when you get above a certain amount of cash flow, you pay extra taxes in that. Like it's just, so you would actually rather have more of your profits in buying low, selling high later capital gains than you would in cash flow. So I'm sort of thinking about the portfolio, the amount of time I spend on it. And then of course, sharing all that with the Coach Carson. I'm really leaning into the builders and the harvester phase of the journey. People, I love new investors too, and you're always welcome with me, but I feel like there's not a lot of content and focus on people who already have 5 or 10 properties and they're trying to actually go across the finish line. And that's something that I spent a lot of time thinking about and doing. You did too. And so I'm focusing a lot of my content and my community on that kind of problem set of people who are trying to finish the building process, actually live off their cash flow. What's that portfolio look like? How do you do that?
Love that. Well, folks, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, which I always forget to say. But most importantly, let Coach know in the comments, would you come to an event in and around North Carolina, Charlotte area for a ORAT and Coach Carson mixer of some kind, sometime in the late summer, September, something like that. Again, no commitment. We just want to see Is anybody interested in said thing? Coach, you're amazing.
Thank you,
I
Michael.
forgot to do this, so let's send people. You have a newsletter, which I learned about last week.
Yep. So every Tuesday I send a newsletter out. It has just comments and behind the scenes for me, and that's the best way to reach out to me too. You can always reply to that newsletter. It goes directly to my email. So love to have you connected on that. It's free, and you can check it out at the link below, coachcarson.com/newsletter.
You're amazing, brother. Take care of yourself,
Thanks,
and of
Michael.
course, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, buddy. See you later.